All right. Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive. This time, we're heading to the Philippines. We're going to check out their film scene.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. And, we've gotten some requests to dig into this movie, The Blood Brothers.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a thriller, a biographical thriller, which right away is like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think anytime you add the biopic element into a thriller, it just automatically raises the stakes.
Yeah, for sure. And this one is set in Mindanao.
Interesting.
Yeah, so let's talk about that setting first.
Yeah.
Because Mindanao isn't like, the typical setting you see in a lot of Filipino films.
Exactly. When you think about Filipino cinema, you often think about the bustling streets of Manila, the urban landscape. But Mindanao, that's something different.
Yeah, it's like the second largest island in the Philippines, right?
Yeah. And it has this really rich history and diverse culture. I mean, you have indigenous groups, Muslims, Christians, all kind of living side by side. So to see a film explore that backdrop, I think it offers a really fresh perspective.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. So this film focuses on two brothers, indigenous brothers.
Right. And their relationship is really at the heart of this story.
Yeah, so we've got this setting, we've got these two brothers. What else can you tell us? Like, what are some of the themes this film is exploring?
Well, the main one is definitely the clash between tradition and modernity. One of the brothers gets an education, and that really kind of sets things in motion.
Oh, I see. So it's like that age-old story of like, you leave home, you see the world, you learn new things.
Exactly. And then you come back and suddenly things don't quite fit anymore. You've changed, your perspective has broadened, but the community you came from is maybe still holding on to the old ways.
Hmm.
And that can create friction.
Oh, for sure. Especially in a place like Mindanao where tradition is so deeply ingrained.
Right. And that's where I think the thriller element really comes in.
Right.
Because this tension between the brothers, between tradition and modernity, it doesn't just play out in arguments or disagreements. It escalates into something much darker.
Oh, wow. Now that's interesting. So we've got Mindanao as this, unique backdrop. We've got this complex brother dynamic.
Yeah.
And this thriller element woven in. It sounds like a really intense film.
It definitely seems like it'll keep you on the edge of your seat. And, when you look at the people involved, it gets even more interesting.
Right. So Cesar Montano, he's a big name in Filipino cinema, right?
Huge. I mean, he's been in the industry for decades.
Yeah, he's not just acting in this film, he's directing it too.
Right.
Oh,
He's wearing both hats, which I think adds another layer to the whole thing.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to wonder how his vision as a director is going to shape this story.
Exactly. Especially with the themes they're tackling and the setting.
Right. Speaking of the story, there's something else that really stood out to me. This film is based on a book, right?
It is. It's based on the book by Dr. Ronald Adamat. And guess what?
Go ahead.
He's in the film.
Oh, wow, no way.
Yeah, he's actually part of the cast.
So the author is in the film adaptation of his own book. That's bold.
It is. It could really go either way. On one hand, you have this incredible opportunity to bring a real sense of authenticity to the story. I mean, who knows this world better than the person who wrote the book?
Right.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's like, is there a risk of bias?
There's always that risk, right?
Right.
It's like, is his perspective going to be the only one that shines through? Or are we going to see a more well-rounded exploration of these characters in this world?
That's a really good point, and it's something we definitely have to keep in mind as we, go into this film.
For sure. But, even with that potential bias, the early reviews have been really positive.
Oh, they have?
Yeah, people are praising the performances, especially the chemistry between the two brothers.
Oh, that's great to hear. It's always so important in a film like this where the relationships are so central to the story.
Exactly. And from what I've read, they really capture that, that raw intensity, the love, the resentment, everything that comes with family, and especially when you throw in these cultural clashes.
Wow. And it makes me think back to what you were saying earlier about the setting,
Mm-hmm.
about Mindanao. Did they film there, like on location?
They did. And the reviews are raving about the cinematography, saying it's just absolutely stunning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Apparently, they've really captured the beauty of Mindanao's landscape, and in a way that reinforces the film's themes. The contrast between the old and the new. It's all reflected in the visuals.
So they're using the landscape to kind of like mirror the internal struggles of the characters.
Precisely. It's like the landscape becomes another character in the story.
Yeah.
And a powerful one at that.
That's amazing. So it sounds like this is a film that really delivers on multiple levels. You've got the compelling story, the talented cast, And these stunning visuals, what more could you ask for?
Right. Although there is one downside. It sounds like there's a limited screening window.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, it's only running from May 8th to the 16th.
Oh, man, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it is. But hey, at least you can find all the showtimes on MovieKaTicket.com.
Oh, good, good. I was going to say, like, how do people even find out where to watch this?
Yeah, no worries. Just head over to MovieKaTicket.com and you'll be able to find all the information you need. Plus, you can check out their Films Review app, too.
Oh, yeah, that's a great resource.
Yeah, it is. If you want to dive even deeper into this film or,
Yeah.
any other films for that matter, they've got reviews, insights, behind-the-scenes stuff. It's definitely worth checking out.
Awesome. So, okay, let's recap here. The Blood Brothers. We've got a biographical thriller set against the stunning backdrop of Mindanao, exploring the complex relationship between two indigenous brothers caught between tradition and modernity. Oh, and it's directed by and stars Cesar Montano. And the author of the book it's based on is in it.
You got it. It's
Yeah.
a lot to take in.
Yeah, definitely. But in a good way. It's exciting.
It is. It really makes you think about the power of education and how it can impact not just an individual, but their family, their community.
Yeah, for sure. Like, what happens when your worldview expands beyond the world you've always known? How do you reconcile those two things?
Right. It's a question a lot of people grapple with, and this film seems to be exploring it in a really unique and thrilling way. So to all our listeners out there, I'm curious, how do you think the Blood Brothers will depict that struggle? Especially within the context of a family already facing so many internal conflicts. And how will Mindanao itself, this place steeped in tradition but also undergoing so much change, how will that play into the narrative?
Those are some great questions. Really gets you thinking.
I hope so.
Yeah, it definitely does. Well, we'll leave you all with those thoughts as you decide whether to check out this film. But hey, even if you don't get a chance to see it, hopefully this deep dive has given you a little taste of the complex and fascinating world of Filipino cinema.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
See you then.